But we move over to Syria, where it will hold its first parliamentary elections in mid-September since former President Bashar al-Assad's government fell in December of last year. This election process will be fully indirect. Local electoral bodies composed of community figures will be responsible for nominating and selecting parliamentarians. The new assembly will consist of 210 seats. 1/3 of the members will be directly appointed by Syrian interim leader Ahmed al-Shara, while the remaining 2/3 will be chosen by local electoral colleges. The main responsibilities of the People's Assembly will include overseeing legislative affairs during the transitional period and fostering economic recovery in Syria, where the majority of the population lives below the poverty line. Listen in as a political expert elaborates on the need for a parliament in Syria.
هناك قرارات يتم اتخاذها اليوم هي بالفعل بحاجة إلى عودة إلى مجلس النواب، مثل الحوار مع الكيان الإسرائيلي على سبيل المثال، مثل يعني قرارات أخرى متعلقة بتغيير سياسة الدولة بالكامل، بتغيير الشكل الثقافي للدولة، حتى بمشكلة الجيش وإدماج بعض العناصر.
The term of the People's Assembly will last up to 3 years until a permanent constitution is adopted. Citizens remain hopeful that the new parliament will unite the country and boost civil peace. Let's take a listen.
أشوف إنه من مهام مجلس الشعب بعد تشكيله بعد انتخابه الخطوة الأساسية والأهداف من برنامج عمله إنه يتوجه للتماسك المجتمعي والسلم الأهلي ووحدة المجتمع السوري ونقل الآراء ومتطلعات الشعب السوري بمصير البلاد.
We are once again joined by Mohammed Osman to discuss this developing situation in Syria. Mohammed, the leadership of Ahmed al-Shara is constantly put under scrutiny around the world. How important is this parliament in legitimizing this transitional leadership of al-Shara?
Well, overtly, at least in very theoretical terms, it is rather a positive development that Syria will have a parliament now, and it means that the process of rebuilding the Syrian state and restoring constitutional order one way or the other is in motion. This is how it looks like, Thomas. However, reality says otherwise. Reality says that Syria is in a state of a political impasse. Syria is in a state where one political faction or factions from a certain background, and that is the Islamist background, are completely dominating the political and the public space inside Syria since the ouster of Bashar al-Assad. And this new Islamist government has been adopting a very authoritarian form of governance. President al-Shara or Ahmed al-Shara, who used to be, by the way, to be called Abu Muhammad al-Julani, the commander of al-Qaeda's affiliate in Syria. So this man who came to power with the force of arms, not by elections, not by choice, not even by the consensus of other Syrian political forces, came and established himself as the interim president of Syria. And afterwards, he held a sham national dialogue conference that did not include many important proponents of Syrian society, especially actual representatives of religious and ethnic minorities, and they put forward a roadmap for a transitional period that paves the way for a new system of governance that lacks any democratic guarantees from the way things stands. And the upcoming parliamentary election is concrete evidence of that. So a parliament will be elected, but do you know what, Thomas? It will not be elected through universal suffrage. The people will not elect this parliament. Local committees from the governorates or the provinces of Syria will choose the members of the parliament. About 70% will be chosen by those committees, and 30% will be directly appointed by President al-Shara. And of course, as you might very well know, those committees in these Syrian provinces have been formed by the new Syrian administration or the Syrian regime. So this will be another new rubber stamp parliament, just like the parliaments of Bashar al-Assad in the previous regime. So this is farcical, to be honest, and unfortunately Syria is walking steadily on a path towards civil war and maybe even collapse.
Mohammed Osman, thank you very much for that brilliant analysis, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. We now move on and over to South Asia, where Nepal's